good afternoon to everybody out there. I just wanted to first of all welcome my guest, which is Danial Nadeem. He's actually the SOC operations manager for Oracle. He's also transitioned into cybersecurity, and we're going to hear his story now. So let's just get straight into it, Daniel. Welcome, and can you just give me your story, how you got into cybersecurity, please?
Sure. Thank you for the great introduction, and honored to be here and sharing my experience. So I'll give a quick kind of 5-minute overview of my journey so far. So I came to the UK in 2010. So that's when I moved to the UK from Pakistan. And I was 17 at that time. So what I did was enrolled into college on a BTech level 3 diploma in IT and networks. So that's how I initially kind of started in tech, the learning part. So that was in September, did a couple of years at college. But then when I finished college, I was still, due to my visa and circumstances, classed as an overseas student. And for those who have attended university in the UK as overseas students, it can be quite costly, upwards of £15,000 a year sometimes. So at that point in time, I decided to kind of take a break for a few years and just work and do a bit of training on the side. So what I did do was become an expert at making coffee, which I'm really proud of. So worked as a barista for a couple of years, but also did some training on the side. So at the time, I was really interested in computer networks, so pursued doing CCNA, which is really common when it comes to entry-level networking. So and the break was quite long. It was 3 years, and I'll come back to why I'm telling or sharing all of this, right? So I took a break for 3 years, worked as a barista, did some training on the side, and then in 2015, I became a home student, so then went on to university and did a degree in networks and security. So even at that time when I started my degree and did the degree, my interest was primarily in computer networks. But while doing my university course, I got introduced into security concepts, and that's when I really kind of started exploring security and understanding what's out there, what's in the market, and I did 3 years at university, and then as soon as I graduated, was kind of fortunate enough to land my first job in IT. So that's kind of a brief, overview of my journey so far. Well, up to the point that I got my first job.
Thank you. That's perfect. Thank you for that sort of a little bit of insight into that. So, obviously you've done a degree in computer networks, you've done a BTech diploma before, so that sort of set the groundwork. Now, what did you do in terms of specifically in terms of certifications or boot camps within cybersecurity? You'd obviously landed your first role. Did you then go on and do some certs within cyber at all?
I did, yes. So I did not do any certs prior to my first job. So just based off of my college and my university degree, I managed to land a job. Okay. And I guess before I get into certs, the reason why I mentioned coming from Pakistan and being an overseas student, I think the reason why I mentioned it is to kind of show people that it is possible coming from a different country, getting educated, and then landing a job and making a career out of it. And secondly, it's okay to take a break sometimes. So sometimes in life you are unsure about what your next step should be, and it is okay to take a break. Although I do suggest that when you are taking a break, do not just not do anything, but do something with that break. So at least move into a direction so that you can kind of see different perspectives and have that exposure. But to answer your question, no, I did not do any other sort of boot camps or certifications before my job. Once I did get into the industry, that's when I recognized, okay, these are the things I may need to work on and do. So I did some certifications like the CompTIA Security Plus, the CYSA Plus, CEH, did some SANS training, and the one I'm currently working on is CISM, so Certified Information Security Manager, because it aligns with my current role and my future aspirations.
That's perfect. What I'm hearing there is basically your background in IT and networks, your CCNA, your knowledge of systems and architecture, allowed you to be able to get into the role, and then whatever training you needed was pretty much given on the job, and you did do some certs beyond that through where you were working, which is really good. So I've just got one more question for you. What advice do you have for people trying to break into the industry? What advice would you give them?
So the advice I would give is something I stumbled upon. I did not plan it, but I have learned through experience. Only two things. You'll have all the technical knowledge, the prerequisites, all of that stuff, which is good. Most people will have it because they've undergone through that through training, boot camp, certifications, or whatever. Networking and communication skills are the two major things that I think people need to break in, but also to stay in the industry and succeed in the industry. And I'll quickly break it down. What I mean by networking is when I finished my university degree, or was about to finish it, a couple of months before I did it, I started spamming people on LinkedIn. And by spamming, I mean messages to head of security, head of IT, SOC analysts, IT support people, saying, look, do you have 30 minutes or 25 minutes of your time that you can give to me, because I'm just about to graduate and I would love to understand a thing or two about your job and learn from your experience. And I think that was the most valuable thing that I did. And I still do that to date. I still reach out to people on LinkedIn and say, look, I see you're a CEO or a CISO or a CTO at a big company. Do you have 20 minutes of your time? And surprisingly, lots of people respond.
Absolutely.
So there's this perception that people are too busy. Yes, people are busy, have schedules, but lots of people are willing to kind of share their experience. So that's the number one thing, but also networking within your job. So once you do land your first job, your first 6 months are the most critical, because you need to make connections in the organization. You need to learn where different people are, what jobs they do, and learn from their experience, because that goes a long way when it comes to things like promotions, things like progressing, and just being successful at the organization, right? So networking is number one. The second, again, equally important as much as networking, is communication skills. Because anything you do, not even in work, but just not even in life, right, involves communication skills. So that is one skill that not many people teach. So I did not learn that in college or at university, but I did some effort myself. Communication skills are really important. And I did a workshop called Stage Academy by Win Zhang. So I do recommend that a lot. He has a lot of free content on YouTube as well. But learning how to communicate will help you in your early stages, but also in later parts of your career. It goes a long way, right? So I think apart from having all of the prerequisites in terms of technical skills and stuff like that, networking and communication skills are the two things I would highly recommend.
Absolutely perfect. Thank you for that. Thank you very much, Danielle. It was really, really great to hear your story, and I'm very thankful that you've given me some time. So great.